Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, and emotional health paradigm. We try to do that as often as we can. We try to do that several times per week. We do that through this audio series. This is a series about dating highly sensitive people, HSPs. So the work that I do coaching people through progressive dating mindsets can be helpful if you're looking to change habits, if you're looking to get more out of your relationships, set better boundaries, uh, stop the tendency towards overgiving or anything of that nature. Would love to be of assistance to you in that way. Please feel free to reach out at PO Perception on Twitter or the in the About Me section of this page. Either way, we'll get you in contact with me and we can make that happen in a meaningful and long-term way. The next thing to consider is kind of that process of dating an HSP. An HSP is a person who feels emotions at a more vibrant level than average or a more intense level than average. It doesn't mean that they can't control their emotions, but emotional regulation is something that can be harder on an HSP than a more traditionalized person. So understanding how to be of value to them is a good way to start healthy relationship core dynamics. So the first thing is be real, be authentic, be you. And when an HSP feels they've been lied to, misled, ignored, or in some way negatively impacted by not having the full story, they're more likely to shut down and or disengage from the relationship. Therefore, authenticity is one way to connect with an HSP on a deeper level than is average. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be completely transparent to the point of humiliating ourselves or being too vulnerable, but the willingness to be vulnerable where we can, when we can, how we can, in a way that makes sense for us, and also being able to answer questions in a forthright and honest manner without giving too much of ourselves away is a necessity when dealing with an HSP. The next is communication. Be clear, be concise, be to the point, but be descriptive. Using extremely descriptive words coupled with being honest and forthright and clear and concise. So try not to be too wordy because an HSP may get overwhelmed with certain words or have triggers around language that we may not know. So try to be concise and to the point, but at the same time descriptive. So using words carefully and planning out or thinking about even taking a few seconds to think about the impact of a response is important. The environment that conversations are had in or dates are had in can be important for an HSP as well. Some HSPs don't do well in loud or crowded environments. Other HSPs do well in small group settings or if there is a backdrop of something that entertains them. So, clear communication about what dating standards are and the best way for a person to thrive is important if you're trying to date an HSP for the first time or for a with a direction on building a relationship that has long-term value. Making sure that all emotions are expressed and understood in the best way possible is important through the mind of the HSP. The value of connecting on an emotional level is one of the more valuable and important things. So, understanding how to connect in a meaningful manner, understanding the ways in which connection is important and can be achieved in a clear, concise, direct, forward, full manner is important there as well. And looking at the possibility of beginning to understand value score from the nature of making emotional connections is important. Planning is important for HSPs as well. Being thrown into unforeseen circumstances and or curveballs where schedule is changed can often be overwhelming because the planning that a highly sensitive person may need in order to gear up for social environments, especially if the HSP is also an introvert, can be difficult or can actually be triggering. So, trying to keep changing of plans to a minimum while respecting the person's time and using time management in a considerate and considerable way consistently is important to the building of that relationship. Learning about each other in the in a way of preferences, that which is liked, that which is not liked, certain topics or discussions that can be painful or emotional. Learning trigger words or trigger phrases can also be helpful, both in a positive reinforcing way and in a negative avoidant way can be useful as well. Making sure not to ignore the emotions or the in quest for communication is also important, especially when trying to build a longer term relationship with an HSP. So hopefully this is helpful. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.